everyone. This morning I've got Sarah Squires speaking to us. She's a narcissist expert, and I mean I've got my own sort of take on this, having been through this and going through this still a bit now, as are many people. But Sarah is a real expert, and she really hones in on what a narcissist is like and how to deal with getting divorced from a narcissist and co-parenting with one. So Sarah, nice to see you here today. So I suppose the big question is, how do you protect your child? So you've end up with 50-50 shared care. How do you protect them from that person? I mean, do they start treating the child or the children in that way? Are there sort of traits that you've noticed over the years in your experience?
Yeah, I mean, they treat everyone the same. You know,
Yeah.
They will project, they will gaslight, they will love bomb, they will discard, they will do all of those things, and the child knows that. The child understands that their love is conditional.
Right.
And so what often happens is children feel like they have to stay connected to that parent.
Yeah.
They have to choose that parent because it's conditional. When one parent is offering unconditional love and the other is offering conditional, a child's biological need to have caregivers will deem that they will naturally follow the one that's conditional, because they have to perform. That they know, if I do that, then that person will stay in my life. If I don't do that, then they won't stay in my life. And so children learn very quickly that they have to be or do or say whatever the narcissist parent wants in order to maintain that relationship and get the sort of breadcrumbs of love that are offered. And you know that, you've been in that relationship, you know how they play that game, you know how powerful that is, and we become trauma bonded, and children equally can become trauma bonded through that. And most important thing is to take care of yourself. Counterintuitive for a lot of parents to do that, but actually when you are repeatedly triggered, which they will continue to try and do that because that for them is control, you can't parent from a secure place. You are too busy trying to focus on getting yourself back. When you're either leaping forward and dealing with, oh my God, what's going to happen in 3 years' time, or you're going backwards and, oh my God, I remember when they did that to me. So in order to stay present, you need to know what your triggers are, when you've been triggered, and how to, as quickly as possible, get back into that present moment. So then you can be there for your child. And from there, it is about meeting your child's needs, recognizing what are they needing right now from me on an emotional level. Because even when they're angry and they're shouting and they're screaming at you, that's a need. It's a need that they're not necessarily able to communicate with words, because they maybe haven't been taught that. They've not been in a household where emotions have easily been expressed and met. And so being able to look at them and really get to their level and recognize and say, I can see that you're angry. Why don't we take a few minutes? And then when we're ready, we can talk about this, rather than stop being angry, stop shouting, what's the matter? How can I fix it? They're quite normal responses, but actually what the child is saying is, help, I don't feel able to sort out these really big feelings at the moment, and I just need you to be with me. Don't need anything more than just being with me in this moment. And again, I always say, think how they're being parented by the other parent and do the exact opposite. So if they're crying, or even if they're happy, sometimes they're going to get a negative reaction to that in a lot of cases. So part of parenting when you're in these situations is to allow your child to be whatever, be happy, be sad, be angry, be argumentative, allow them to be, but with boundaries. And this is the tricky thing for a lot of parents, is how do I set boundaries when the other parent uses them against me, or the child feels that it's unfair or abusive to have these boundaries in place? The important thing there is that children need boundaries because it's, and my colleague uses this term, so I'm going to borrow it from them. If you got on a plane with a pilot and the pilot was going, yeah, I think we're going here, but I'm not quite sure, and we might change direction, and you would be going, I'm getting off this plane. So when you're not able to set boundaries and be consistent, that's what your child is feeling. Your child is feeling, oh my God, my parent doesn't know how to do this. I'm not safe. And so working on yourself, getting yourself secure and strong and assertive, and knowing what boundaries you deserve and what will keep you safe actually helps you to then put those boundaries in place. And you'll know what boundaries are right because you do it from the heart. It won't be a control. It'll be this feels right. This feels like the right thing for my children. And those are the best ways to protect. Obviously, I don't want to go into the court arena too much because that's very complicated and it would be on a case-by-case basis. But in terms of proving this abuse, it's very difficult. It's very difficult because it's subjective. You know, one person's view of abuse is different to someone else's version, and professionals get two almost opposing views and then have to sort through this muddy water. Your emotions are triggered all the time. They're saying that you're unstable, you match. You know, it's very, very complicated. So focus on what you can do, which is the parenting bit. That's why that's so important. And that's where the real power is. You know, these children need to learn how to deal with their parents. They're going to be their parents for the rest of their lives. They're always going to be there in some way, shape or form. So teach them the skills through the parenting rather than putting all your eggs in the basket of family court.
Brilliant. Oh, there's some really good advice there, Sarah. Really good. And of course, you know, we love having you in the Hug Directory and within the group Hug itself. And I know you sent me a couple of brilliant books which I've had a look through. You've just written a new one because you're also an author. We've got here Communicating with a Narcissist, and they're kind of like workbooks you've written, so they're different, aren't they? You actually work through them. I just thought I think they're great, really great. So if you just tell us a little bit more about the books that you've written and about your new one.
Of course, So co-parenting with a narcissist, it's very simple in terms of, this is kind of straight to the point. There's no fluff. It is, you know, how do you go low contact? How do you go no contact? How do you communicate when you're having to co-parent? You know, how do you take care of yourself when you're having to communicate? No frills, but it's the basics that you need. So if you're just starting out on your journey into co-parenting with narcissists and you're not sure how you're going to manage it, 99p on Kindle. Just have a read through. $2.99 in the flash. And the other book is Co-Parenting. That's the one. So that's all about co-parenting. It's an attachment-based approach. So coming back into what I was saying about creating that secure base. And there's, again, lots of activities in there, lots of parenting activities, lots of activities for the child. The new book actually is around Get Court Ready. So it's a coaching manual for going through the court process, helping you heal alongside having those conversations with professionals, how to build rapport, how to prove your abuse, you know, those sorts of things. That might not be out till the end of the year, but I will obviously let the group hug know when it is available.